are you gentlemen this afternoon?
Doing well.
Very good. Well, good.
We appreciate you stopping
I'm
by.
great, thanks.
And doing y'all's thing. I said gentlemen. That was
Oh.
that was everybody in the group, unless you identify as something different now.
It's hard to tell these days.
I mean, we could have that conversation, but nowadays the beard doesn't even help. I mean, there's people that identify as something else.
Oh, they've
that's
had
got-
bearded women for years at the circus.
I know.
Is it the circus? What do they call that? Or Lycon.
Yeah, you should be over here in the chair.
Mountaintop.
Take my
Mountaintop.
spot.
In my search to find something meaningful, I set out chasing something real, something authentic. Along the way, I've met people bold enough to follow their dreams. People like David, whose passion built BarMusicLive.com. We've joined together at the Farm Lounge, where up-and-coming artists get more than a stage, they get a story. Live music, real conversations, one unfiltered experience. This is Fancy's Unfiltered meets Bar Music Live.
So again, thank you guys for coming out. You sounded amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We're glad you came. So now I heard you tonight was a little different. We had some tweaking and stuff going on, so we was running around like sprayed roaches and trying to figure out some stuff. But I did hear you say that, and I knew already, and we were going to talk about it, but we'll just dive right on into it. You just had was it a single that released, or you got a full-fledged album that's fixing to hit, or what's
Well, I actually pulled it. I've got 10 songs that I've done over the last year, and the last two that came out was one that Eric and I wrote that we did called Sad Old Songs. That's getting played a pretty good bit on some independent stations right now. And right before that, I had one called Shake the Dust, which has done really, really well. And it's like been on a couple of charts on independent stations. And it's always, I mean, it's independent. It's not like you're not making any money off this, but it's kind of cool to know that people like it. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's trying to do that, and and it's been a lot of fun for me to do. Whether it goes anywhere or not, who knows?
So now, is this your profession full time, or do
No.
you still have?
I'm
a day
actually
gig?
a school counselor.
Ah, okay.
I did a lot of stuff.
Multitask. That's probably why you lost some of the stuff that's up top.
He
all
actually
them hats that you wear.
He's also got a connection with one of our advertising
Widow's Peak
partners,
or whatever it is.
ISSA. Got some songs associated with them. The Rick Spins show.
Yeah, they've been real good. He has played one that I did with. I wrote and I asked Kaylee Jordan to sing for me was called "I Don't Need Your Diamond Ring," and it actually made it to number one on the show. Put me in the battle of number ones, and so it's almost like every song that I've done that they've played. So they've been good to me. Made a lot of contacts through it, and I mean that's why I do that because, like I said, there's no money in that. But you're making contacts, and you never know which ones are going to help you pitch songs to people or whatever.
We're still in the making friends position right now too. We're just trying to make friends. We're not making money yet. We're just making friends.
Yeah, y'all be our friends, because that's
I don't
all.
know.
That's all we got at the moment.
Yeah, we can use friends.
Yeah.
all we can get.
Yeah, always need more friends. I was fixing to go somewhere, and then the friend thing got me sidetracked. Because I was like, oh, I get friends now.
He's
So-
excited. He's never had one.
Yeah, no, there's very few and far between. So with the Rick Spins, how does that work? Where is he based out of? Because I've seen a lot of it, and I'm just now getting into it. I know Bar Music Live's partnered up with the International, and I know you do a lot on your own because I've seen you create some local artistry playlists on your own and try
Yes.
to push that out just to help get the name out for people.
Yeah,
So-
I'm about to do the other one, but I did one called Brothers and Sisters of Alabama, and I know and it was all independent artists from Alabama that I put on there. Most of them I know, some of them I didn't know. I just know that they had music out, and of course, you miss don't hit everybody. Now I would go back and say, oh gosh, I forgot so and so. They're going to get mad at me.
You're always going to forget somebody.
But yeah, we did that. I did that, and but since then there's been a lot of new stuff that's come out from people, and I'm going to go back and do a second one, and try to push that, and
And where all did you push that? Was it just
that was on YouTube.
Okay.
On YouTube Music, I did that. I'll probably do this one on both YouTube and Spotify.
Are you enjoying trying to figure out how to make the algorithms and stuff work on
It's
social
maddening.
medias?
It's maddening. I had it last year. It was around this time. I posted this simple. It was Tyler Childers sitting in this cafe. It was and he was playing, and no one was looking at him. And I posted that, and it went out to and I started the next day. I started getting notifications like crazy. I had to turn them off.
Was it that one that you had posted about the story about him playing in that bar forever and
people weren't listening.
Right.
And I said, you never know who's playing there for you. And when that happened, it went out to 25, 30 million people. I don't know. It was something insane.
Stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, and I ended up making like $980 off one post.
That's cool. See, we hadn't even got to the point where we making anything.
Well,
yet.
that's the only time that's ever happened.
See, and we talk about this
And
every
now you've
show.
got to pay taxes on that.
I
because
did
you
pay
just told
taxes
that.
on it. No, I've already paid
Okay.
taxes on it. I'm not going to cheat.
But that's the thing, and we've talked about it a couple times on here. You never know what's going to hit and what's not going to hit, and some things that hit are just absolutely stupid, and it does kind of get disheartening sometimes when you put all your heart and soul into making something, and you think it looks good, and it sounds great. You put it out there, and you think, well, if that thing, if that meme got however many views, then this should really take off. And it gets
doesn't.
like 3 likes and a mad face.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Well, I've watched, I followed a lot of independent musicians, and some of them are so much bigger than what we are about this. And one of them in particular is Casper McWade, and he's one that has written several songs that he has written. Cody Jinks recorded, and he does a lot on his own, and he does it for a living. And he one day posted, he said, what's amazing? He said, I can put a stupid post out there and get all these likes. And he said, I put one about my music and it doesn't go anywhere. And then somebody else chimed in, and I think that the algorithm, I think it's like a lot of things. I think it's protecting some of the bigger name people.
And it could be. And I think, and we talked about this on, was it the last one? Some of this stuff starts to run together.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a couple of times.
But we
lately.
were talking about how the algorithms that they put out there is to force you in the direction that they want to see it going. So, like, they know if you put something out there and it gets a whole buttload of likes and shares and comments and whatever, you're gonna, if you're trying to make a living at social media and be an influencer, they know that you're gonna start trying to go that direction because you're chasing those likes and those shares. So they're kind of forcing you into that mold because that's what's performing, and that's what and when they get bored with doing that, then those algorithms won't work and they'll start forcing you towards something else. It's like we're in a little mouse cage. Just a little runny what's it called? A little wheel thing?
The wheel?
Yeah, little spinny wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Running around.
I was
the
hoping
wheel.
somebody in the audience
Hamster wheel?
they was just looking at me like a stupid running
Yeah.
on a hamster wheel.
You
Well-
lost all your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
See, that's what I'm saying. It never lasts long.
Yeah.
I know.
They, and we talked about it last time too. They're really weirded out by what we're doing with barmusiclive.com right now. I think because to have, I don't know, it's like 2,100 and something followers now. I don't even know. We're talking about Facebook, of course, because that's everybody's go-to. But to have that many followers, and I'm getting, I was up to, in 28 days, almost 54,000 views of my page. So why they wouldn't like that, I don't understand. But they're even hiding me from people who regularly look at my page, because one of my helpers here, Christy, she was trying to type in the name of Bar Music Live, and it just like disappeared and wouldn't even let her go to it. And it does the same thing when I'm trying to tag you.
I know.
It makes you disappear. It does some really weird
the
stuff.
amount of people that have said that they are no longer able to tag me and stuff.
Yeah.
Like when they go and they smash and they start typing and it's not there.
Well, and it's really odd. Like, as you know, like on Facebook, we were trying to share all of you that have your events on barmusiclive.com. We were trying to share your post on Facebook as well as often as we could with our links and stuff. Well, they didn't like that. They were not letting anyone see those posts. So we quit. We quit doing that, and all of a sudden, they started letting us be seen again. It's really strange.
It's funny you should mention that, because we had the same thing happen this past weekend. We were trying to tag our music, to everything, and of course I
tried to this afternoon. It wouldn't let me.
Amy handles all that. I'm not very good at that, and I don't enjoy it. I like to play and sing.
You just show up sighing.
Yeah, I just like to sing, but yeah, it's funny that y'all talk about that, because we did have that happen very recently.
Well, and it's always a topic, mainly because we're all of us that are always sitting on this carpet are all up in the middle of it, because you guys are trying to push yourselves and get noticed and get seen and get that next extra gig, and that's what it's there. Everybody, the amount of crap that I see on those social media platforms, you would think that stuff that we're doing, you could just swedge that right on in there and it'd be like, oh look, something different. But again, it doesn't fit the cute little mold that they try to force you all into, and so it comes up quite a lot, because we're all sitting here struggling, going, I just watched, and nothing against, there's a feller in Canada that stands out in a field and makes tornado siren noises. If anybody's seen that, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about.
I've never seen this.
And I'll show it to you. Anyway,
I can't wait.
Dude probably has more money than all of us sitting here, because every one of his videos just goes stupid. And I know there's a little bit of stupidity factor in that everybody's going, look at that. But still, he gets out there in the middle of the field and goes, and he's got all that. And we sit here and we try to do what we're doing.
That was like a Chewbacca sound or something.
Well, I was, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot like Chewbacca.
Yeah, I'll embarrass myself if I try. Anyway, so, yeah. So, anyway.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, we just get lost.
Yeah, let's not go there.
See, and I'm not even I didn't even have that problem today. Martha's telling me to shut up. So anyway, it comes up a lot because it is ignorant and it is stupid. So we'll shift gears. So what led you guys? How long I didn't know that you was a school counselor full time still. So what led you to here? How long you been playing? And tell us a little bit about
So
the
I'm
Brad
a little late
Thomas
to the
project.
game. I'm a little late to the game with this. When I was 14, a guy next door to me actually gave me an acoustic guitar and showed me D, C, and G 3 chords. And from that point, by just practicing and then playing with people that were obviously a lot better than me, I learned how to play. And but never did anything with it throughout the years. And I actually got interested in it just, I guess, what was it, Sharon, about 5-6 years ago? I can't remember. Not 5 or 6 years ago, I think it was. We got interested in it and tried to, maybe a little longer than that, but trying to work up, get a band going like that. Never worked, because I'm telling you, musicians can be kind of quirky. And
I haven't noticed that.
no, well, open your eyes.
I thought he was going to say his neighbor had an old dobro that he used to play or something.
No. And it was,
Name was Curtis Lowe.
What changed it for me is I remember, we went up to, we started going up to the Sawmill and doing the open mic nights over there on Friday nights. And I've actually seen a couple of videos of me back then. I'm like, oh, dear God, that's horrible. That was pathetic. But I got to meet a lot of people. As a matter of fact, Eric, that's how he was one of the ones that had gone up there to the Sawmill. And I'd been playing with I played with a couple different folks, and for whatever reason they go their way. You get this band going, like the one that went to 2 shows, and then egos get in the way, and or whatever. It doesn't matter. But you get those things that happen, and what I found was that every time something like that would happen, I would think, okay, crap, I'm back to square one again. I'd come out better on the other end, and I think Eric and I started doing this 2 years ago, and the thing about this, I mean, we've had no drama or anything like that. Not that I know of. We haven't had anything. It's been stress free.
Very little, not much,
And it's all been on your part. No,
I get a little stressed trying to set trying to get the sound.
Oh, I know, especially band shows, right?
Yeah,
that's a lot. I know it is.
Yeah, we've never stressed over sound.
No,
Never,
not tonight
I don't
either.
remember ever having a problem.
But
with sound
we
at
started
all.
doing that, and I knew from the get go that there was something different about it. And he plays a lot of old country songs. I grew up rocker. Okay, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Ronnie James Dio. These were my go-tos. Yeah. And I'll still listen to those guys today. But I started playing this kind of music and trying to dabble at writing. And with Eric, he'll do this at shows all the time. He'll say, "All right, you never heard this one, but we're playing this one." I'm like, "Crap, here we go. Let me pull it up so I get the chord." But the thing, it's kind of like I found it's been very enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with this, and we've got to play a lot of places.
we have. You keep count. I think I don't count it that much.
You just want to sing.
I just show up and sign.
Just show up and sing.
But yeah, we've been busy. We have burned up the road the last couple of years.
We really have. They're all the way from, where was that place we went? It was about -4. It seemed like, was that Spring Hill, Tennessee?
Yes,
Oh, that was horrible.
yes.
We played one set and we're like, we got to go because I can't feel my hands or feet anymore. We went all the way down to Montgomery and places like that. It's been a lot of fun. But along the way, we've also started recording some of our own stuff. And that's been a blast because we work with David Vest out of E320 Studios in Coleman, Alabama. That's how
I
we met
hear his
Tim.
name quite a bit.
Yep. And that's how, because when we were started the band, I asked, I know Jeremy was Eric's friend, and he came on board, and he wears the world's most okayest drummer shirt most of the time. It's cool. But, bass player, we had a guy that.
Look, no, he sent a picture of this shirt to us. Said "World's Okayest Drummer," and he said, "Hey, this would be a good Christmas present for me." So, I mean, what?
Did you get it for him?
What do you do?
I didn't know that.
ordered it. Yeah,
Well, I mean, they took all the guesswork out of trying to figure out
Yeah.
what you're supposed to get.
Yeah, there you go. But we had another guy who was doing the bass, and for whatever reason that didn't work out. And so I asked David, "Man, help me out. You know the bass player?" And Tim came on, and it's been a lot of fun. That's the thing about it. All four of us, we have fun with what we're doing. There's no stress to it. You mess up in a show, which is going to happen. I play with people. When you mess up, they look at you like they're going to kill you. Well, if you're going to take it that serious, I mean, yeah, you're not going to have. It's not going to be enjoyable, and that never happens with us. Because all of us mess up.
At least
some of us hide it better.
We,
than others.
Yes, that's true.
And we've had so many come through here and seen so many different types. And one thing I'd like to say to start, we appreciate you guys for using BarMusicLive.com because you guys have been really good about keeping your schedules on there and keeping stuff on there for people to see where you're playing. We like being able to provide the people with that, people that really, like we were talking about just a few moments ago, people that really enjoy music. That's what we're about, and that's what we want to do, and we appreciate you guys keeping your schedules on there. But we have seen lots of different types, I guess, of musicians, different levels. People have different ideas. Some people take it a little more serious than others. Some people get upset over sound issues. Some people are really thinking that they're going to be the next big thing. And then we've met some people that we think probably are going to be the next big thing, and wonder why they're not yet. Really, and there's different aspirations, different thoughts, different ways of looking at it. Some people are just real happy right where they're at, and they just want to play a show. They just want to have a good time, like you were saying. Just enjoy what you're doing. And to me, it's almost like some of the ones that have kind of settled in there and gotten into that groove, and they're just really enjoying it. They're just having a good time with it. They're the ones that seem to be the ones that start kind of excelling, and you start seeing a little more from them and hearing more from them. And I mean, you guys, I've seen a lot from you. Like, you've been all over the place, like you were talking about, and it seems like you have a pretty good following. And I mean, obviously your music's getting some really good attention with like ISSA and some of those things. So, I mean, congrats on that. Keep it up.
Yeah, I stalked you today getting ready for tonight, and
I know. I saw a picture that was pulled out. It had to have been from 3 years ago.
I like stalking people. I was just looking for something, but I did see that you do have a pretty substantial following on your Facebook, which is impressive.
And I don't know how that happened.
It was that one video that you did.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, and I'll be honest with you about that. I think it's like 8,000 or something like that.
I think it was 8.7.
What?
I think it was 8.7K.
Whatever. It's one of those things where, yeah, to be precise, thank you. I think that about 3,000 of that came from that stupid post, and I wish I did not have them, because I mean 5,000. I'd be proud of 5. But I think a lot of them came from that, and I'll watch it sometimes, and people drop off, and hopefully most of them dropped off, but because I want them there for the music.
Well, and we've talked about that as well. When I started the Fancies Unfiltered side of things, I was chasing those likes, and I would put something out and go, oh, okay, that's the direction we need to go, because I'm trying to get the likes and the shares and the comments and the whatever and the follows, so that you can get monetized and you can start making a little bit of dollars coming in from the thing. But then you realize how stressful that is, because that's not what you want to do. That's not the direction that you want to go. And you get to the point to where, just like what you said, if those people that attach themselves to you because of something that you put out that wasn't really representative of you, it's okay if they fall off. It may not look good on numbers, and it may be hard to say, hey, look at me, I've got 4 followers. But you know what? Those 4 are there for the right reason, and they're going to, so it takes a lot longer to build something that's authentic, because authentic is hard to find and hard to keep. Most everybody wants to go to the next shiny thing and do whatever. So when
Language there.
do what?
The shiny thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
Shiny
shiny
objects.
things. And so we're all, the whole damn world is after shiny things. And I know why I started what I started, and I know a lot of that's why you started what you started, because
Shiny things?
No. Well, getting rid of the shiny things, getting back to what's authentic and the ugliness of whatever, like we both stressed because we had some stuff go wrong tonight with whatever, but that's part of what it is, and you guys understand that, and it's nice to hear guys sit here who do this day in and day out and know that it doesn't matter how many times you get up there and do it, you can do the exact same thing today as you did yesterday, and it's probably going to mess up today, and you just have to take those and roll with it. But when you get to that point to where you understand that's what you're after, and the people that follow you despite all of that, that's your authentic crowd, and that's what you're after. And once you start building that, then those people, like what we talked about, that come in and think they are just, an old dairy farmer that likes to sing every once in a while and doesn't think that he has anything and is super humble, those are the types of people that end up making something, because it's just like you guys. You're not in it for the shiny things. You're in it because it's something that's passionate. And something that you enjoy doing, whether it's 4 degrees and there's 2 people in the crowd, or whether it's at an event venue somewhere with 1,000 people. You're doing it for the right reasons, and that ends up turning into something. It may take a little longer, but you've enjoyed the ride to get there. My opinion, whatever that's worth.
I've enjoyed it. I know Eric one time, I don't remember this. I remember last year when you told me, you said that as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, and do it. But if it stops being fun, you're gone.
Yeah,
And I get it.
I mean-
I'd be the same way.
yeah. You got to
If-
enjoy it, man.
If you don't like the people you're around, and it's not fun, then
because what we do, we both got full-time jobs. Well, we all do, and with pretty heavy responsibilities in them. But and this is almost, it's as much work. What we do is having another job, but it don't ever seem like we're working really, because we're doing
there are a few times.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has its times,
Yeah.
but there is something to be said about if you wander around in shit all day, but that's what you enjoy doing. You come home at the
Yeah.
end of the day, and it's like, it is what it is.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be said about being in things for the right reason, and yes, when things don't get fun, there's too many things going on now that you have to do that's not fun. If you're going to take on an additional something extra, it better be because you
Well, it
enjoy
keeps me. I'll be honest with you like this. One thing about school counseling is that over the last, ever since COVID, when we came back from, the worst thing that we ever did was shut everything down because of the damage it did to those kids. I think emotionally and all that, being isolated. I know they weren't totally isolated, but it changed some things, and the problems that we see from kids and from parents and and even society in general have shot up. And so by doing this, it kind of gives, for me, it's like a break from all that and from that stress, and giving me an outlet to do like I said, to do something that I really enjoy doing.
it kind of lets you take your mind off of some of the other stuff.
Oh yeah, because they'll tell me at work all the time, "Where are you going this weekend?" 'Cause it keeps me sane. I'll put it that way.
So, Mr. Jeremy, on the end, how'd you come into all this?
I met Eric through another friend. We were playing a little music together, and it just didn't work out. So, packed up my drum set of this one and put it at his house. And then he called me and said, "Hey, Brad wants to try to work on having a full band." And I said, "Well, okay. I'm good. I've got little regulations or stipulations, but it's I play at my church also every Sunday. So learning that music and then trying to pick up on this,
It's probably just a smidge
difference.
smidge difference, yeah, just a little.
but it's a lot of fun. I've played when I was young and then got out of it for 20-something years.
Yeah.
And I've picked it back up maybe in the last 12. So I've missed out on a lot of learning and a lot of things, but some of it's kind of like riding a bike, and the other part, just kind of, you have to think about it.
Right.
I don't practice at home, so it's one of those things I can just sit down and listen to some music. Hey, learn this song, and I get it in my mind. Watch the videos and listen to the music. Kind of like at church. I don't get to practice at home. I have a set at church, but it's the same kind of idea of me just sitting down with the music or listening to it over and over, and then trying to add a little bit of whatever. As they call me, world's okayest drummer. But
You brought
hey,
that on yourself.
It is. It is.
You did want the shirt.
But they also, I'm the drummer. They put me in the back. They like to throw meat sticks at me sometimes to keep me going, keep me happy, and
We keep calling you to play too. So.
yeah, but they do. It's been very enjoyable with these guys. It's been very easy. I'm probably at times the weakest link, but it's okay. I've enjoyed learning
not at all,
their
but-
We're all the weakest link at times.
not the missing, right? The link, no. But when they put out a new song, I like to listen to it before we try to introduce it and before I get involved with it and kind of make it my own a little bit.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it for the last year. We've only been, not even a year yet that I've been with them. It's 4th of July last year was the first time we played together. So
So now, do y'all try to do full band gigs quite a bit, or is you still a lot of singles and solos and?
So we set out with a goal. When me and Brad first talked about getting the band together, we set out with a goal. Let's try to do one a month, and with a full band because we do duo shows and he does a lot of solo shows through the week and then every weekend. But so that was our goal of one a month, and we've been pretty close to that. And coming up through the summer, I mean, here in the next couple of months, we've got two or three a month. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, do you tend to load up since everybody else has got regular all year long jobs, right?
Oh yeah.
So do you tend to load up during the summer and pick up a bunch of extra stuff, or?
Oh yeah, 'cause it's gonna fall off. It'll when football season gets here, it's gonna fall off because that's when you get a lot of your gigs that you have set up, and then they change the Alabama game tonight, and they get the call, hey, we're not gonna do music this weekend because of that, and I'm like, God bless them. You get a lot of stuff and then a lot of venues will pull back from music. So yeah, when the summer comes, man, take what you can get.
So, Mr. Lemons, how'd you come into this? When did you start your own thing? And
So, man, I always loved to sing. Always have. Grew up in a church with some great singers. Was influenced by them. My mother plays the piano. Still plays the piano at church. She tried to teach me that when I was a kid. She allowed. I wasn't a very good student, but I think I remember where middle C is maybe. But
I do if I put a piece of tape on it.
I can find it. But took a guitar lesson or two in my, maybe junior high, something like that. Played the trombone in the junior high band. Couldn't do that again couldn't do that now to save my life. But and then got on up after we got married. I started playing the guitar again, and just went from there, and did a lot of singing around the house. And I guess I did that so much that Amy finally got to pushing me to play, because I'd sing at the house all the time, sit around the campfire and sing. And she got to pushing me, and another friend of mine got to pushing me to get out and play some, and did. And Brad mentioned earlier we went to the Sawmill, a place down there in Coleman that Jerry Parker's got. Him and Brett Greer were running that down there, and got a neat little setup down there, and that's how Brad and I met. And we've been wide open since then.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn. Wow.
Save the best for last, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute.
I don't know. I'm just blessed to be a part of this and be with these guys. I owe this all to my mother, actually. She started me in piano lessons when I was 5. Okay. So I had a basic background in music before I even attended regular school. School starts, they have the music class that comes around once a week, which is tambourines and rhythm instruments. Wow, I'm stoked over this, dude. All through school, trumpet, trumpet, baritone, tuba, played those all through school. And in 1972, there was an opening in the jazz ensemble, and I decided to try over bass guitar. And actually, I'd been playing around with an acoustic guitar, listening to the radio, picking out the bass notes, because I didn't have a chord book. Dad didn't have one of those. He just had an old Ward's Airline acoustic guitar sitting around, and, well, can I play this? Well, don't break it. Like he was playing it, So I picked out all the bass notes on it and thought I was just being a cool dude going into high school. I can play bass, man. So elderly gentleman actually taught me how to play bass in 72, and I've been playing bass ever since. 1981, just by the pure grace of God, I got hired by a professional band, and I played music for most of the 80s professionally.
Okay.
Playing bass, singing background vocals, and everything else. And
there are still videos out there.
there are videos out there. Yes, there are.
What
on the
what
internet.
band was this?
Huh?
What band was this?
This is a little German band called George and the Lucky Riders.
George
George and the Lucky
We're gonna have to
Riders.
look this up.
You've got to
gotta
look it
look
up.
this
I've
up.
seen, I've seen a
Hits on
couple of
that now.
videos.
Brad actually went out and found that, which just freaked me out that thing is still out there.
That once it goes out there, it never comes back, y'all.
So anyway, I did that for the majority of the 80s, and it was kind of time to wind all that down, and came back home, settled down, got a regular job in Huntsville, get the degree, get the job, I'm an IT dude professionally. And I've known David Vest for about 20 years now,
Okay.
because we were going to the same church together. He ran all of the sound stuff, so I started running front of house, playing bass, blah, 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 everything for him. And have just played basically in church around here and there for, all those years. And all of a sudden, Brad's down there and said, hey, I need a bass player. And David said, hey, call Tim. So Brad calls me. Who the heck is Brad Thomas?
He's nobody.
So I had a conversation with him and turned around and sent a text over to Dave. I said, Brad Thomas, with 2 question marks. He said, call me. We had a conversation about a half hour, and then I let him, yeah, no problem. I'll be happy to do this. So after all these years, I'm back playing music again with a very good band. Not totally full-time, but, if it gets there, it gets there. And we'll do that accordingly. But I'm just really happy to be a part of the group now.
So when did each of you? I haven't asked this exact way because most people don't know, but we'll try it and see. Can you define the moment when music was the thing for you? Do you know when that was that you said I'm gonna do this forever? It's in me. I can't let it go.
It was in my early childhood because I have always been into music. Always.
My mother used to have the old stereos that were in the wooden box, and your record player was here, and your 8-track was here.
There's one in my parents' house right over here in the
Oh, yeah.
basement.
My mom said I used to stand there cutting teeth on the edge of this thing, bouncing to the music. And I think after that, I don't know. I mean, I just remember always beating on pots and pans. You get the wooden spoons out, and finally got into beginning band and did all that. But I never really played a drum set until I got, like I said, 15 years ago.
See, just think of all the parents in the world that has stunted their children's growth in music because they got in trouble for beating on shit when they could have ended up being the awesomest drummer ever. And look at you.
You hear that, parents? You never
Yeah.
know. Let
Yeah.
your kid beat on the pots and
Yeah,
pans.
don't
okay?
get on to your kids for beating on stuff, except for mine. Don't beat on stuff when we get home. So, Mr. Thomas, which is a fine last name, by the way.
Of course it is.
It's very strong. Yeah.
So, I guess I can answer this in a couple of ways. When I was 14 and got that guitar, I knew I loved to play. But adulting gets in the way sometimes. And I picked it back up again, actually from a old Fender guitar that my wife bought for me at a pawn shop. And I think that the time that when I first time I stepped on stage, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And I think from then on it was like, I was hooked.
Sir in the hat.
Yeah, I'm kind of like what Jeremy said, and as I said earlier, I can't ever remember not liking to sing or wanting to sing. And as I got a little older, I always loved to sing. I was a little hesitant about getting in front of folks. You know, I just hesitant about getting out there, but you know, but once I did, it didn't take me long at all to get comfortable with it. You know, and to really enjoy it.
So, side note to that, did you finally get comfortable because you felt like you was good enough, or did you finally get comfortable because you decided you didn't care what anybody else thought?
Some of both.
Yeah. There, that second one is a big thing.
It is.
That stops a lot of people from doing
Yeah.
that next.
But you know,
next
it's like
thing.
everything is, it's repetition. You do it enough times and it becomes automatic. I mean, it's like if we go to a new venue.
Yeah.
It used to be, I was terrified to go to new venues. What are they going to think about us and all that? Now it's like, you know what, we're going to be the same there that
Yeah.
we are over here that we played 15 times.
Right.
It doesn't faze me anymore.
So a cool thing, and I don't know if you've seen this yet or not, but on barmusiclive.com now we've created a way to see a full list of the artists and the venues. So if you want to find a new place to play, even though you may be nervous going there for the first time, you've got a list of, I'd have to look, 500. Christy, do you know how many? Okay, it's around 540,
Thought you was
50
prepared everywhere you
different
went.
venues on barmusiclive.com right now.
Well, you
So-
just gave my wife something to. She's the one that does about 90% of our booking because it got so big, so fast in terms of booking that, you know, because for when I started out, when you're cold calling these people because they don't know who you are, and you're sending out a product to them, it started out maybe 1 in 20 is going to answer. Now it's a lot more than that. Now there are people contacting us and saying, "Hey, can y'all come?" But we still have to do that. You know, we still have to send this out to people and in hopes that they'll look at it, and in hopes that they'll, you know, actually listen to the videos and the things on the EPK. And but yeah, we're always looking for new places to go play.
There's something a little better coming for that too soon, I hope.
Okay.
We're working on all kinds of stuff.
I got all kinds of ideas working in here. Yeah, the whole idea, we wanted to make this process better for you guys and make it easier because we've talked to the venues and we've talked to the artists, and we know that there are a lot of challenges with the booking side of things, double bookings. That's one thing that we have prided ourselves in. We have helped figure out so many double bookings early for people so they actually have enough time to reschedule. I mean, it happens all the time. Christy looks through the calendar. I keep calling out Christy. Christy's one of my number one helpers. Between her and a couple of others, of course, Dee Dee puts lots of stuff in there too. But we get these artists like yourself, we get venues to send us their full schedules, and we put those in there. And one thing about doing that is that it allows us to see what the venue has versus what the artist has. So we've been able to catch a lot of double bookings that way, issues with booking. But then we hear from the artist, well, I've contacted this venue and they never contact me back. Well, that venue's getting 1,000 emails in a day, and it's hard for them to sort through that. And then, you know, we hear from the venue, well, we can't find artists that are good. We don't know who's good. We don't know what's good. We've never heard these guys play. So one thing about our site and what we're able to do there, just like you said about the EPK, your profile on barmusiclive.com, we can include your EPK on there. We can include all kinds of stuff on that profile. So it makes it easy for a venue to go through this list of artists now that we have and just say, oh, let's see who this guy is. Let's see what Brad Thomas project sounds like. Oh, they got EPK. Eric Lemons, there's his profile. We can look at him. And the cool thing about that is, too, like when we put your events on there, Brad Thomas project's listed, then Eric Lemons is listed. Mm-hmm. So anybody that looks up an event for you guys can find both of you. Or if you look at Eric Lemons, you can see that he's got these events booked with Brad Thomas project.
And I do that in the EPK, too.
So-
His stuff is in there, too, for that very reason, because, you know, I want people to hear it all, you know.
Yeah. And that's what we want. We want to create a full picture for you guys on there. So, having pictures on there, having the videos on there, having the EPK, the link to that, whatever. We want to make this as good as we can for you guys being out there trying to get these gigs and going and playing new places. Because I was talking to one of the venues today, and one of the frustrations is we've got the same people that play every 2 or 3 weeks. And it's like, how do we get out of this? I said, I've got a list of 500 and something artists. I mean, you never asked me about this. Ask me, who do you want to come play? I can get you somebody to come. I can recommend people because we've heard so many. I said, we've been having these since, I don't know what the first date we was. It was sometime in March we started. We've not had the same band or artist here so far. We've had a different one each time. And here we are in Podunk, Colburn. So if we can do it, these venues can do it too. And some people like being a house band, but some people don't like being a house band. Some people like playing the same places over and over again. Some people want to see different crowds, different faces. I think kind of like what you and I were talking about a while ago, when you go in a place and you want, as the artist, want that place to be about the music. That's what we've wanted to create here. We've wanted to create a place where people actually come to enjoy the music. Do you guys enjoy the music? Okay. That's pretty good for this late in it.
I know.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And if you was at one of those other places, they wouldn't have been able to hear you ask that question. Because
they would have never known they
No.
wouldn't know we were up here doing a podcast. Oh,
No.
the music stopped? We didn't even notice.
No, because they're
So,
probably over there fighting or something.
We wanted to make a place like that, and I think getting you in different places helps with that. Have you guys experienced that? Like when you play a new place, do you feel like maybe sometimes you get received a little differently than if you're playing the same place over and over again?
Yeah, absolutely. For better or for worse.
It could go either way.
It can.
Yeah, because we kind of look around sometimes, and you see a bunch of young 20-somethings out there drinking and all that, and we're like, okay, this is not going to be our crowd, and most times it's not. But
And
sometimes
then you play, you never even call me by my name.
and they're still sing. Then they'll sing that. But it's like the whole thing. I think that I've kind of focused on is finding the niche. If I know that this is not a place that's going to fit what we do, I'm not going to reach out.
Just don't even go to start with.
Do what?
Just don't even go to start with.
Oh yeah, and some like Eric said, sometimes we walked into places and for the first time and had such a great response. We're like, oh, we're going to come back there, and sometimes you're like, it's maybe not a good idea. But I think we've gotten better at choosing right now, so that there's not as many of those coming around. No. And we've seen, because we played some places, have we?
We have.
Some places.
We've some places I said, Brad, I'm not going back there again.
Some places.
Those places.
Matter of fact, can we leave early?
But
Oh yeah, that's our one of the songs is about one that we need to record
we've
is
got a song about that.
about one of those places. But yeah, that's coming up.
But on the flip side of that, there's some great places too. That and there's places that hey, we got to get back in here, and those are the places that everybody likes. But
Once you get to a place like that and you have a good set and it's a place that you enjoy, is it pretty easy to get back in, or is it like pulling teeth to try
90% of the time. Every once in a while, we'll play a place and have an incredible response, and then we get ghosted.
Yeah.
We've had that.
we have.
I'm not going to name, but we've had that happen, and it's just, and those are the ones that kind of blow my mind,
Right.
because I'm like, wait a minute, the bartenders were over here singing the songs as well,
Right.
and okay, we can't. All right,
You ain't
we'll
gonna-
move on.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to please everybody, and there's probably some ulterior motive as to why that happened. So, who knows?
Well, so far to this point, I will say this: there's the places that we played. We've been fortunate that we picked up some really good new places, and there are some places that I played in the past that I think back on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. But I'm really, for the most part, we're really happy with what the direction that we're going and picking up and some new regular places that are just really high quality.
So I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit. Do you see this growing for you guys to get past one a month more consistently? I mean, is this something that all of you are enjoying and it's seeming to work out, that you think that's the direction you're going to try to get a few more of these, or what's your plans in the future? Or do you know? You just winging it, seeing what happens?
I think it goes back to what Brad said earlier. We're going to push it till we get tired of pushing. I mean, that's
Well, I think you guys should
fair
keep.
enough.
Yeah,
I think,
that's fair enough.
I think keep pushing, because the four of you together sounded pretty damn good tonight. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
and I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you got anything else you want to talk about, did we miss anything? Something that's just been eating at you that you want to talk about?
No, we just want to thank you guys, and think what
Definitely.
y'all are doing is, it's great.
We're trying.
Talking about connecting artists and venues and everything, and
Well, and I think I might be speaking out of turn, but I think a lot of this is getting to where at some point, at some time, barmusiclive.com could kind of be the all-inclusive spot for anything and everything that we've discussed here tonight. And the goal behind that is it makes it easier for everybody involved. It makes it easier for you guys to get scheduled. It makes it easier for you to know where to go. It makes it easier for these guys to be able to find you. And I've said before, every once in a while, if we go out, before we started doing this, and I didn't know who anybody was, still don't know. I know y'all now, but remember, I don't have any friends. And we would see somebody, and you'd like them, but you can never find them again.
Yeah.
Because they may not put it on their social media, or the venue that they're going to that might be just right down the road doesn't put anything on social media. And if you was on barmusiclive.com, there you are, and you can find it. So I think at some point, as this continues to grow, I see that kind of being an all-inclusive for your EPKs, for your bookings, for your. I think it could easily.
It's there to use right now. It's just it has to be submitted through us. What's going to be in place eventually is you will be able to control your profile on barmusiclive.com. Right now, you've got a profile. We'll put anything in there you want us to put in there. Any pictures, any videos, links to EPKs, links to social medias, whatever you want in there, we can do that. It's there right now. So the fact is that the way this site is performing right now in Google searches and such, that you're at an advantage to be in there over an artist who's not in there. And if you're a venue, you're at an advantage over a venue who's not in there because of the way searches go. And we don't rely on algorithms. If somebody wants to find you, they can find you. If somebody wants to look through who's playing tonight where, all they got to do is start scrolling and they can see everything that's happening. And we do have a ranking system actually in Bar Music Live, just because of the way the actual website looks at different artists and such, and it will rank artists by performance, by how many times they get viewed and all that kind of stuff. It does not affect being seen. Obviously, they can still be seen. But something that I've thought about with what you're talking about now is for us to actually have something like a barmusiclive.com certified artist or certified venue. So if we've kind of put a stamp of approval on that place, that's a good place for you to go play. Or if we've put our stamp of approval on that artist, that's a good artist for you to get to come play for you at your venue. And it's going to really help these venues decide who they want to come play. I think it's going to help the artists decide where they want to go play, because there's some places, like you said, you don't really ever want to go back to, and
you live and learn.
You do.
And there's a lot of other places that you've sent a bunch of emails to and hadn't heard anything, and so you get that cute look. Is it going to be like in kindergarten you get the cute little star stuck beside you?
Yeah, something like a little sticker, those little star stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the blue check they've got for Meadow right now,
Yeah.
something.
You know,
Yeah.
that's just an extra 14.
We'll have a green one since green's kind of our thing with
Yeah.
Bar Music Live, I guess.
So again, I appreciate you guys coming by. Fantastic job as always. I hadn't got to hear you in person yet because I never get to get out. It goes back to no friends again. But it has been enjoyable. I'm glad you guys were able to make it out, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank y'all. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it
you,
too.
You enjoyed
So this concludes. Did you have something else? I thought you was getting. Are you just moving?
I was just getting ready.
Are you just getting ready? Okay.
Do the
So this
closing.
is the end of it, guys. Thanks for coming.
That's the end.
So again, thank you for being here. BarMusicLive.com is, of course, where you need to go if you need to schedule an outing and you want to know where to go and see somebody. Go to BarMusicLive.com. You can find who's playing and where they playing and all that good stuff. And of course, check out the Farm Lounge. We do this at least seems like once, if not twice. And there's a week coming up soon that we do it 3 times.
3 times in 1 week.
I know.
Yeah. We
I mean, I'm
two-
super excited, but
2 next week. 2 next week. 3 the following week. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
getting.
So all this stuff is starting
busy,
to pick
busy,
up.
busy,
It's starting
busy.
to grow. We have a amazing photographer that likes to poke her head in and take some amazing pictures. And so she's a lot better than me. So you'll see her stuff before you see our stuff. But it's been awesome to have her.
I'm sure it's already out there.
It probably is. Yeah, she probably done a bunch. Yeah, she's probably done some while we were sitting here. She is that damn good. I know. So anyway, again, we appreciate you stopping by. Check us out on the next one. This is Fancy's Unfiltered Bar Music Live Farm Lounge. I'm out. I'm done. You done?
You done?
I'm done.
Hey, thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks for our sponsors. Thanks to Brindley Mountain Barbecue for providing us with some great food tonight. Pepsi for providing us with some great drinks. Pepsi of Coleman and Decatur. We really appreciate those guys. International Singer-Songwriters Association, we kind of mentioned them tonight. We really appreciate those guys and what they do for musicians. Sand Mountain Amphitheater, they've got a lot of cool events coming up. June 6th, the next one scheduled. Tacos and Tequila Festival with Lil Jon. Y'all go get your tickets for that. It's going to be a blast.
Nobody in the crowd said, what?
Yeah, nobody was ready for that. So, really appreciate those guys and all they do for music and the community and all that kind of stuff. Thanks to my big time helper over here, Fancy's Unfiltered. You go follow this guy. Follow Brad Thomas Music, Eric Lemons Music. Give them a follow, give them some likes, some shares, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, don't forget to follow BarMusicLive.com and the Farm Lounge. Thank
Everybody
you.
everybody already follows BarMusicLive.com. You seen your numbers? See y'all on the next one.